We are living times of environmental crisis and immense pressure on human rights. We know that predatory exploitation of resources and of people contribute to environmental destruction. And we also know that even though climate change and ecological degradation threaten all of us, they strike the most vulnerable the hardest. Yet, even in this difficult landscape, international law gives us tools and inspiration. The International Court of Justice has, case by case, developed principles that help us connect past decisions with today's urgent challenges. Welcome to International Law Unboxed, the podcast where we unpack legal concepts from legislation and case law and make them usable in the real world. I'm your host, Leonel Lisboa. This is Modern Echoes of International Justice, our 10-episode series on how decisions of the International Court of Justice shape legal thinking on sustainability, business, and human rights. I am a human rights lawyer myself, but I want to be very clear from the start, this series is not for lawyers, or at least not just for lawyers. It is for everyone who's curious about how international law can help protect human dignity and the environment. For me, international law is not something abstract, but it's a resource that any of us can draw from. No matter our background, profession, or place in the world, we can use it to cause real, positive impact in the realities we are now. And I'm learning myself as well. This is actually what excites me about doing this series. It is a journey that we'll take together. Each episode will explore one case or advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice, and together we'll uncover legal concepts that might sound distant at first, but that actually help us think and act differently about the challenges we face today. Episode 1: Unboxing the ICJ. So, what is the International Court of Justice? Well, the ICJ was created in 1945 at the end of the Second World War and is the principal jurisdictional organ of the United Nations. It succeeds the Permanent Court of International Justice, which was established after the end of the First World War as part of the League of Nations. The court sits in The Hague, in the Peace Palace, and it has two main functions. First is to decide cases between member states of the United Nations. These are binding judgments where the court applies international law to settle disputes, for example, disagreements about the borders or how to use natural resources or the interpretation of treaties. The second function is to give advisory opinions. These are non-binding decisions, which means that they don't create or attribute specific obligations, but they carry enormous authority, as they are the instruments for the court to answer abstract questions of law. So if anyone wants to interpret a treaty or a customary rule in concrete, in the real world, they can turn at the interpretations contained in advisory opinions. This is very, very relevant for the work of any court or tribunal around the world. If you know how a court will judge your actions in the future, then you can choose now how to act and not get in trouble. While cases are moved by one or more member states against another, or a group of other states, advisory opinions are given when organs of the United Nations, like the General Assembly, ask the court to clarify what international law says about a certain issue. Be it a decision in a case or an advisory opinion, The words of the court have effects far beyond the beautiful walls of the Peace Palace in The Hague. They shape legal thinking all around the world and influence international and domestic courts, as well as legal teams in governments and companies. Learning the court interpretations gives us powerful tools that can be used to cause positive impact in the protection of environment and the promotion of human dignity. So yes, the International Court of Justice is this very relevant body of international law, but why talk about it now? Well, in July of 2025, the ICJ delivered this historic advisory opinion on climate change. For the first time, it recognized the human right to a healthy environment, and it confirmed that states have legal obligations to act against climate harm. This is actually what inspired me to do this series. Looking at this precedent of the International Court of Justice, I thought, what are the other decisions that have happened in the International Court of Justice that are also useful to deal with elements of business and human rights, elements of sustainability? How can we protect the people and the planet using the precedents of the International Court of Justice? How we can learn from the precedents of the International Court of Justice. So this is what we are going to do in this series. In each episode, we'll take one decision of the ICJ and unpack it together. We'll look at what the court said and why it mattered then and how it matters now. The goal is to learn and see how these legal ideas can be used today as tools for actually protecting human rights, defending the environment, and guiding action in a time of crisis. So this is it. Episode 1 was to set the stage, to open the doors of the ICJ. Now we can walk on the corridors and take these decisions out of the wall and see how they can be used in real life. Over the coming episodes, we'll unbox one by one of those decisions and see how international law can help us face the challenges of our lives, one case at a time. Thank you for joining for this opening episode of International Law Unboxed, and also for this series of modern echoes of international justice. Join the ride as we explore how law can give us tools for defending both human rights and the planet we share. If you have questions, suggestions, or ideas, please reach out with the comment function or using email or social media. The details are in the show notes. Next episode, we dive deep in a decision about dangerous weapons and their far-reaching effects.